Okay, similar triangles. Now, I just said similar triangles, and if you can see the sheet of paper, the worksheet, uh, it's triangles on it. But I'm showing you a picture of the Husky logo here. Now, there's a point to this. Similar triangles or other similar figures are like an enlarged photograph, like I have here with the Husky logo. All the features are the same, like the angles. The dog's ears are at the same angles. The his nose is at the same angle to the eyes. It's just one is bigger than the other. Everything has been increased in proportion, in the same ratio. If the size of his eyes are doubled, the size of his ears will be doubled. Everything increases by the same factor. So that is a similar figure. Everything is in proportion. Whereas if I go, and squish it, that is not similar. So this is kind of the same as congruence. All the angles are the same. The features look the same. It's just one is bigger than the other. So the statements work like they did before. If we take a look, we'll start here, K and J. K and J are the first two letters. So that's going to pair up on the other triangle with C and D. So when I said it increases in proportion, this is what you do, and this is what this means. If we had taken the smaller triangle and blew it up like a photograph, this 6 would be the same part as the 3. That's why they're the first two letters, just like when we were naming the triangles for congruent statements. In proportion. Now, a proportion is two triangles with an equal sign in between. And you want to line the parts up. So you can either go small over big and small over big, or big over small and big over small. Just don't mix them up. Try not to. I know mistakes happen. So when we take a look, like I said, 6, so we'll start with big, 6 over 3. And then my KL, the second two letters, KL, goes with DE. So start with big here, start with big there, 12, and I don't know DE, so I'll use an X. Now, the way that we solve a proportion, in this one you might be able to do in your head, but for harder ones, you cross multiply 6 times X, and 12 times 3 is 36. Then you divide. Like I said, maybe you know that one in your head. 6 over 3 is 2. 12 over 6 would have been 2. Number 2, again, we want to line up the corresponding parts. We take a look here. Maybe we'll start with TU. That's the first two letters. So big over small. First two letters there, TD. So that's 8. Big over small. So I got to start here with the X over the only other number that there is, 6. But that is right because TV, that's the first and last. TC, first and last letters in our similarity statements. As you can see, it's like the congruent statements. It's just missing the equals. So what this means, everything's been shrunk or enlarged in proportion. There's your proportion. Now we'll cross multiply. 24 times 6 is 144. 8x. Now you divide. You get 18. Number 3, let's take a look at what we have. Well, the last two, we went from big to small. Hey, just change it up here. Let's go small to big. So let's pick a side here. It can be any side. And even up here, I could have done it differently. You would get the same answer. We got to pick something to start with. This time, maybe I'll start with the smaller one. C and D. That's the first two. So that goes with the first two letters on the other one, LK, 63. Now I started with the small one first here. Got to start with the small one first on the second one, 15, which is DE and KJ. Oh, they're not trying to trick us or anything. It is the only other one, X. So cross multiply, 27X. And then maybe break out your calculator for this. 15 times 63, 945. Divide by 27. 35. So again on 4, pick one to start with. Maybe this time I'll start with my X. That's K and Q, so that's the first two. So that's got to go with KL, first two on the other statement. That's 70. Now I started up here with the smaller one, so I got to stay up for the smaller one for the other fraction. And that'll go over your 65. Oops. Can't speak and write at the same time. And that makes sense. 13 is RK. First and third, KM. Cross multiply, 65X. Break out your calculator here, 70 times 13. Divide by that 65. 14. Now I'm going to skip 5. It's just the exact same thing. Just to save some time here. So one way you can do it, like on the front, is from the statements. The order of the letters matters, just like when we did the congruent statements for the triangles. The only thing that's missing here, they're not equal, they just correspond. Like back to the Husky analogy from that picture. You know, if 13 inches was the size, or 13 millimeters is maybe the size of the smaller pupil on the Husky's eye, this would just be the same pupil, just bigger. That's what you're doing here. You can either do it from the statements, or if they happen to put stuff about the angles down. Now on 4, we'll forget about the statement. We could use it. Just to practice, though, if they don't give you the statement and they just give you stuff about the angles, we'll pick one to start with. Maybe I'll pick with the 40. I'll pick the 40. The 40 is between the double slash and the triple slash. So we got to go from the double slash to triple slash down here, 64. Now I started with this triangle on top. I got to stay with that one for the top of the second. So 60 between the single and the double, X. Again, cross multiply. And we'll use our calculator here, 60 times 64, 3840. Divide by 40. So you can do that with the congruence markings. Or if they give you the measures, that works too. We just got to put the sides formed by the equal angles as the corresponding. Again, what I mean by that, let's say we start with the 9. The 9 is between the 80 and the 61. The 80 and the 61 down here is X. If I blew up the top triangle, and slid it down, 9 would line up with X. And then the 12 is in between 39 and 61. 39, 61, 48. Cross multiply. 9 times 48. And 12 times X. And divide. 36. Same idea down here. Between the 103 and 30 is the 40. Between the down here, the 103 and the 30 is the 56. So 40 and 56 go together, and the X and the 42 go together. And I'm not going to take the time to do that one here. I've got some other videos too. Hopefully that helps enough. Not many people found this one challenging. So hopefully that's good for that.